You awaken to a brutal thermal shock, crushing heat above, biting cold below, as if the planet itself had decided that you shouldn't exist. And guess what? He almost succeeded. You were born on the margins of life, in a world that doesn't care about you, where everything wants to kill you, from the sun to the dust, from predators to the very silent rules of the Miocene savannah. Nothing welcomes, nothing forgives, nothing waits. You try to breathe, but the air comes in rough, as if it had edges. His frail, thin body, closer to an ape than anything they would call human millions of years later, trembles like a weak branch about to break. Your eyes still barely open, but you feel, that you're too alone for someone who has just been born. And that's how his story begins. Yes, congratulations, you are a Sahelanthropus Tchadensis. One of the least equipped creatures to survive, and one of the most important in Earth's history. An irony so great that even the wind seems to laugh in your face. If you want to understand what it would be like to live another reality as cruel as this, comment on which world you want to see. The camera descends through the late Miocene savannah. The sky is a metal plate vibrating with heat. The sun paints everything an aggressive, almost violent orange. In the background, shallow lakes evaporate like lazy mirages. The dominant smell is not of flowers, nor of life. It is of hot dust, parched vegetation, and dead animals that no one had time to bury. A trail of ancient footsteps, the buffalo, primitive hippos, predators, cuts through the hardened ground. And there, among the gnarled bush, a small group of his species tries to survive. They are few, silent, suspicious. The sounds are dry, the crackling of branches, distant growls, the shrill cries of birds that only appear when something dies. You feel everything intensified. The smell of your mother's sweat, the rough touch of the ground. The tremor of a predator tens of meters away, almost inaudible, but which its ancestral brain still detects. It's a survival movie. But you are the protagonist, and he doesn't even have teeth to bite his own luck. You fall into the world like a stone too weak to crack anything. His tiny fingers try to grasp his mother's thin coat. She watches you without much certainty. Motherhood here is not sentimental. It is statistics. If you survive the day, great. If not, life goes on. Predators prowl from its first minute. The smell of childbirth blood attracts archaic hyenas. Your mother needs to move fast with you hanging, even without the strength to do so. His first lesson is cruel. Existing is already dangerous. Days go by, and you begin to understand your place, which is basically having no place at all. The group moves all the time, looking for shade, food, water. The savannah changes like unstable moods. Sometimes full, sometimes a cracked desert. You learn to differentiate sounds, the distant snoring of a predator, the rustle of leaves indicating fruit, the absolute silence that signals imminent death. Your body always hurts. The nights are cold, the days burn. At every turn, your species tries one impossible thing: to survive by being too small, too slow, and too smart, for now. Gradually, you venture too far away from the group. Curiosity is a double-edged sword, and for you, it's usually the edge that cuts through your neck. You see a colorful lizard and follow it. He almost dies crushed by the paw of a giant bovine. Do you learn your lesson? Not exactly. But he learns that the world doesn't care. This is where the first mentor appears, an older, scarred, crooked skull, the result of a battle he probably lost but survived out of stubbornness. He pushes you, growls you, pulls you close to the green safety of the bushes. It is not affection. It's instinct. But for you, it's almost affection. Now you can walk fast, climb small trees, and spot fruits that don't kill you instantly. His species lives on a thin line between quadrupedalism and bipedalism. You try to stand sometimes not out of evolutionary awareness, but to see above the vegetation. And ironically, it is this gesture that will change the future of the entire Earth millions of years from now. But at this moment, it only serves to perceive a shadow that is too big. A predator. You run. The group runs. The dust rises. The older mentor stays behind, not by choice, but because his legs no longer respond. The silence returns. He didn't, and you learn a new rule. The loss is too constant to cry for long. Your body grows. Your teeth get stronger. Your mind learns little tricks, breaking hard fruits with stones, seeking shade before the heat reaches its peak, recognizing dangerous footprints. You also start to feel something strange: anger. Anger when another young man tries to take his food. Anger when the rain promises and doesn't come. Anger when the night brings enough cold to freeze your breath. Anger that will later turn into ambition, but for now it's just a barely contained roar inside you. Training here is simply surviving long enough to observe the elders. They hunt small animals, steal carcasses, understand winds, avoid giant beasts. And you try to copy. An older female scarred by scratches and births begins to tolerate you. It teaches how to smell ripe fruits. It teaches how to listen to the sound of groundwater. It teaches you to stay still when a predator is too close. It's the closest you'll ever get to a teacher. And you absorb each lesson as if they were precious drops in an eternal desert. Missions here are simple. Survive the day. But eventually something more complex emerges, crossing a predator hunting area to reach a region with more food. The group argues with grunts. In the end, he follows the plan. When crossing the territory, everything is tension. The ground is too soft, fresh footprints. The wind blows in the wrong direction. And you feel panic creeping up your spine, faster than your ability to run. A young man is attacked, screams, blood, dust. The group flees. You run away. And for the first time he is left behind, not because he is weak, but because he stops to look. He still breathes. It is still debated. It still calls. But you know you can't help. It is the first moral shock. Survival always wins over empathy. Over time, you become one of the strongest. Withstands long walks. Find rare fruits. Locates water in unlikely places. The female matriarch begins to grunt in her direction before making decisions. It's almost leadership. You remember the mentor you lost, and the irony tightens. You are now what he was to you. A pile of scars and difficult decisions the group trusts. You get to guide paths. Find new areas. Prevents deaths. But something begins to erode inside. Responsibility weighs like a stone on the back. You begin to realize that your species is on edge. Predators getting stronger. The climate changing. The vegetation disappearing. The water disappearing. And even worse, a silent doubt is born within you. What if all this is not enough? What if we are destined to disappear? You blame yourself when someone dies. Even when it was not possible to save. Even when it was unavoidable. Even when nature is too indifferent to care. You ask yourself, what is the point of continuing to fight, to carry the group? To maintain traditions that are not even traditions, just desperate attempts not to die before the next season? And at the same time, something inside you doesn't want to give up. Something pushes you forward even without knowing why. As if she were unknowingly carrying the entire future of humanity in her hands, too small for that. Now you are a complete adult. Strong, experienced, respected, and tired. Extremely tired. The group constantly increases and decreases. Some are born, many die. You lead traversals, protect cubs, face predators, find new territories, but the savannah is changing too fast. Longer droughts. More violent storms, more aggressive competitors. More numerous predators. Social pressure, instinctive and silent, weighs on you. Keep the group alive, as if it were possible. As if the world did not strive daily to erase you from history. You start to feel guilty about the decisions you didn't make. For the ones you took. For the ones I should have taken. For the ones you didn't even notice. The burden becomes part of your body. And the doubt grows. If we are so weak, why do we insist on existing? The lake where you drank dried up completely. There is nothing left but cracked mud and bones. The group is weak. Puppies moan. Females are exhausted. Older males hardly walk. You have to choose. Head east, territory full of predators, or west, a region without water for months. The choice is impossible. But you choose anyway. West. The march is silent. The heat is deadly. The dust rises like smoke from an eternal fire. Every hour someone falls. At every turn, the world seems to mock you. And then, when hope seems like the last thing alive, you hear something, the subtle, almost imperceptible sound of running water. The group accelerates. But they are not the only ones who have heard it. Predators emerge from the shadows. Fast, organized, hungry. You stay on the front line. Not out of heroism, but because he is the least weak at that moment. The battle is brutal. Nails, screams, blood, dust. The world turns, the sun burns. The sound of the water fades into chaos. You feel teeth dig into your shoulder. Scratches the floor, growls, pushes, screams, And in a last desperate impulse, you manage to fend off the predator, long enough for the group to flee. But you stay, fallen, breathing hard. The predator returns. It walks slowly, confident, as if you were ending a natural and inevitable cycle, and deep down you understand. Maybe it is. You feel your heart beating like a drum about to break. Vision blurs. The smell of his own blood mixes with that of hot dust. And something inside you realizes, perhaps for the first time, the utter insignificance and, at the same time, the immense importance of your existence. You, a small, fragile, almost irrelevant being, are about to die, but his legacy does not. Millions of years later, someone will find his bones. Someone will study your skull. Someone will say, "This is where it all started, and this is so ridiculously epic that you almost laugh." The predator jumps. You close your eyes, and the world disappears. Its body falls among dust and dry roots. The group is still without you. They will survive a few more years, maybe decades. But eventually they will also disappear. Still, something remains. His hesitant walk. His timid bipedalism. Your stubborn instinct. Their ability to survive in impossible conditions. All of this, years later, will become part of a lineage that will change the entire world. You die small, but its impact is colossal. Enjoy and sign up, because in the next video you won't believe what happens to other ancestral species.